In the previous lesson, we started discussing the four main pillars of marketing decisions: product, price, place, and promotion. Now we will talk about place. In the broader sense, we can consider the distribution network of a company, which is more appropriate in today's complex environment. Distribution is an essential step to eventually fulfill the market demand. A good product would not succeed if the distribution fails to properly support it. For many companies, distribution also represents a set of resource-consuming activities that can significantly impact their profitability. Many factors, both business environments and business decisions, can influence a company's distribution network configuration. For companies that sell intermediate goods or services to other companies, and the companies that produce consumer goods and services but sell through intermediaries, they engage in trade marketing, which takes place between companies instead of towards consumers. In both cases, a strong relationship with the distributor is critical, especially for small business. Strong relationship could reduce transaction costs and increase financial stability. It could facilitate co-innovation, which increase the values for the client and strengthen the competitive advantage of the supplier. However, note that in trade marketing, there are still competitors despite strong relationship with clients, and the objectives of the supplier and the client are not always perfectly aligned, in addition to the obvious conflicts of interest on price. For example, suppliers would prefer to deliver big lots within generous timeline, while clients would usually prefer fast delivery of small lots. Higher service level in distribution flexibility could be a potential advantage for small companies in trade marketing. For small companies sell consumer goods through intermediaries, distributors could favor competing products and private label, which provide higher and more stable sales. Small companies often have low bargaining power over the important distributors and retailers. As such, distinctive value in the products for the consumers can increase the competitive advantage of small suppliers over the competitors. Retailers engage in retail marketing to promote awareness and interest of the supplier's products and to sell and deliver these products to the consumers. The retailers need to carefully manage their product assortments and retail pricing in order to attract the consumers and to achieve certain profit level. There could be high competition for the suppliers in the retailing space. The retailers would be motivated by value and benefits for themselves when it comes to retail marketing. Therefore, suppliers could plan conjoint promotional initiatives with the retailers to provide value to the retailers as well. Even if they may distribute through intermediaries, suppliers of consumer goods could also engage in consumer marketing, which targets directly the consumers. Consumer marketing can be rather costly, but it could increase product awareness and attractiveness, thus to increase the chance of being noticed and being chosen when placed together with the competitors in sectors such as fast-moving consumer goods. For product categories that consumers are more involved in the purchase process, such as clothing, appliances, cars, and so on, consumer marketing attempts to capture the consumer's desire for the product that they would first choose the product, then choose the retail channel. In such cases, the bargaining power of the suppliers over the distributor could significantly increase. Luckily, the barrier to consumer marketing is significantly lowered by digital marketing. Small companies now also have the possibility to leverage on consumer marketing to communicate unique values in order to gain competitive advantage in distribution. However, note that the priority that small companies should have between trade marketing and consumer marketing can also be influenced by contextual factors, in addition to decisional factors. When the final consumers have low brand loyalty, when the value of the product is difficult to be perceived, and when the product has low importance, it is preferable to distribute through intermediaries. When the product has complex features, specialized distributor or retail can be more effective in demonstrating the value to the consumers. In these situations, companies should adopt a push strategy and focus on trade marketing. For the sectors in which consumers could have high brand loyalty and that they are highly involved in the purchase process, company could adopt a pull strategy and invest in consumer marketing to build a desirable brand image. Instead of selling through intermediaries, companies could also choose to sell directly to consumers. Having direct distribution channels allow the company to have better control over service, image, and customer experience delivered. It is more often adopted when branding is particularly important, when the company deals with relatively small number of customers, but whose purchase has high value. Financial resource available to invest is another determining factor, as it is rather costly to operate direct distribution. Small companies are often discouraged from direct distribution, first and foremost for this reason. Small companies are more obliged to rely on distributors to reach the markets, especially those of large size and far away. Nonetheless, the diffusion of e-commerce to a large extent has lowered the barrier of distribution for small companies. Later, we will have a look into e-commerce and some practical tools that can be useful for small companies.